Yo, what up, my beautiful dowdies? How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Fao, and let's talk about features in Honkai Star Rail. I think that we can all agree that Honkai Star Rail has a lot of quality of life features. Throughout the past of all the patches, they have implemented some very good new features that 100% make Honkai Star Rail just way easier to use and gives us a way better flow of playing this game. But I do think, after almost reaching 3.0 now in a few months, I do think that's going to be finally the case. I think we're missing out on some very key features or quality of life updates that will make this game from like maybe a 8 out of 10 to instantly to a 10 out of 10, you know, theoretically speaking, because I do think that this is the best gacha game on the market right now, and I have a lot of fun playing this game, but I am missing these from the start of playing this game, you know, all the way back in 1.0. I already thought, these features should be in there by default, and most of these create a way better experience. So in this video, we're going to talk about new features that I think that should be implemented. So let's get straight into the video. These are the top 5 new features that should be implemented in Honkai Star Rail. Quick note, I do think that this is going to be from number 5 to 1, you know, so number 5 is going to be the least important one, and I do think that number 1 is going to be the most important one. Then let's go straight to number 5. I want a Idolon Toggle. An Idolon Toggle is very strange to me why it's not a feature. Now, of course, maybe a lot of you guys think, like, why would you need that? You know, an Idolon is just an upgrade. Why would you need to turn it off again? But I do think that a lot of people, or just for the comfort of it, you know, because the coding is already there that is turning it on. So why could you not just turn it off again? Because there's maybe a lot of things that you want to test, you know, and see the damage difference really into the detail, you know. I think that an Idolon Toggle to turn a specific Idolon off is actually very interesting. And also, I think whatever you want to be. So let's say you have a E6 character, you know, let's say E6 Tingyun, and you specifically want to turn off E3, you can turn off E3. If you specifically want to turn off E5, you can turn off E5. And you don't have to turn off the previous 4 Eidolons to do that, you know. I think it would be very nice if you could actually see the raw strength of these Eidolons, and clicking on a specific one to turn them on or off can really show and could help you maybe team build better to really go in depth on what these characters can provide for your account. I think this is a very nice feature, and I 100% think that this could help a lot of team building and just the whole Honkai Star Rail player base to maybe help them understand their characters better. Of course, in Genshin Impact, we've had the same issue of a character called Bennett. Back when I played Genshin Impact, I remember how frustrating E6 was for that character. Now, I don't think that we have such a catastrophic Eidolon in this game where it like completely breaks a certain playstyle. Correct me if I'm wrong, but already there with Bennett, right, it inflamed like a certain element, and then certain characters wouldn't work with it anymore if you had that Idolon. But that Idolon was very strong for fire characters, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, why could you just not turn that on and off? I think an Idolon Toggle would make a lot of sense in this game. Then on the number 4 spot, we're going to have an idol animation selection. Also number 5 technically, but I'm just gonna throw it at number 4. An idol animation, because there's a lot of characters out there that they have new idol animations or new characters come out, and I always have to wait for certain ones to see what they actually are, right? I think it's very frustrating. I think we should go, if you go to the character screen, there's just a new section, you know, with like where their birthday is, relics, whatever. You just have another tab, or maybe in the voice lines already, they could just choose a idol animation. I think they have 1 to 3 or 1 or 2. You could just click on them and you could just view the idol animation. This might be more of a feature for content creators, because I always, you know, for my thumbnails, I have like faces of these characters or in-game models or splash arts, and sometimes I want a specific frame from the idol animation and I have to wait. I have to wait until they do the specific one, you know, and sometimes I do 3 times in a row the wrong idol animation. And I do think, just as a whole, outside content creation, some players maybe want to see the idol animation and they want to show your friend or a specific one, or something funny happened, right? I think if we can select the one whenever we want to, would be very nice. My opinion, but I think that would be a very nice quality of life feature in Honkai Star Rail. Now we're really going to go to the range of stuff that would 100% change the game. On the number 3 spot, I want a relic preset that you can swap between characters. And what I mean with this, let's say you have a very good break set, right? You have the new break set, and you have both Boot Hill, Firefly, and you do not use them in the same team. you just use them in their respective element, right? There's a lot of physical weak enemies, and then you choose to use Boot Hail. Or there's a lot of fire weak enemies, you choose Firefly. Now, of course, this doesn't really matter because Firefly enables the physical weakness, and Boot Hail does this as well a little bit with his ult. Just to use it as an example, you use one relic set, right? You have crazy break effect stats on 4 of these relics, and maybe even the Orb and Rope. Now, every time you want to use the other character in MOC or Pure Fiction or whatever it is, you have to swap the relics individually to the new character. How about we make presets for these relic sets that we have, and we can just swap the presets between all of our characters? That would just be an insane quality of life that would help out the game. We would get this, and it would tremendously help out just the flow of the game, and just help you not to worry like, oh wait, what relic did I use on this character? You know, sometimes when I'm playing like late game content and I'm swapping around the sets, even on like supportive units, I even lose track of where that specific relic piece was where I needed it to be, you know? So I think a relic bundle, or whatever you want to call it, a relic preset, would be very nice, and you can just swap that between the character selection screen and your relic tab, and you can just swap the whole full sets between your characters. And I think it would help out a lot of struggled, you know, account management for a lot of people. I think this would be a very good feature for Honkai Star Rail. Then in the number 2 spot, it is going to be a music box in battle. This feature, yet again, is going to be already in the train, right? We can choose different music. How about we implement this in the actual game when we're in battle? I cannot hear the Thanks. I did Oprah, of course, when I was younger. No, I didn't. But you guys, I think you know what I mean. This is one woman that is singing all the time when you are killing those 3 music robot things. I don't know what it is. It's with a certain stage. Cool and all. And I'm not flaming Honkai Star Rail's music, but sometimes I am getting very sick of hearing the same song in the same stage over and over again. We need a music box that can change the music during battle, you know? You can just select whatever music you want to hear, especially when you're doing endgame content. Really nice. Imagine if you could hear Wildfire when you're clearing some content. I'm always so excited to farm for Cocolia because Wildfire is such a good song. Then I'm having such a blast with a cool song in the back, you know? Imagine if you can just choose whatever song you want, because Honkai Star Rail makes a lot of good music. Imagine if you can even hear from the music video, you know? What is it called? White Knight. Stuff like that, just throughout battle. It would be so nice and just so atmospheric if you could just choose whatever music you want to hear at a specific time. I think that would help out a lot of comfort again with the players, and I think that players would start to enjoy battles more because they can actually choose the songs themselves. Now, I do think that the overworld should not be changed. I think overworld really gives like certain places their environment, gives them iconicness, you know, like Penacony music and Huda Space Station, stuff like that. That doesn't need to be changed. If you want to go into detail, sure, do that as well, but it's mostly for the battle, because battle music is very important to me, at least. Then, for the number 1 spot, I want a practice range. And what does a practice range mean? Do you always have that you want to try out a new composition that you have, or you want to try out something, a light cone, a new relic piece, you want to damage check, something, right? I want a practice range or a sort of battle where you can select any enemy that you want. You can select through all the characters, and you can just check how much damage you will actually do with like a full combo. So many times I have to like go to MOC, or then I have to clear one specific site to go to the other one to then test that, you know? It's all very clunky. I don't think that MOC is a very good like thing, or any late game content is very like smooth and nice to really see where your account is at, right? What we can expect with the damage that you have. You can like you can just equip anything, right? You can just have like a really big target dummy even, so you can just spam ultimates. You can enable a lot of things that you just have perma ult uptime, that you don't consume any skill points, whatever it is, right? You can just have a full practice range. We can just do whatever you want to see what your account is capable of. And I do think this is a very nice thing to have. Even though that's a turn-based game, and like there's a lot of other games, I think even Zelda Zone Zero right now has like some sort of practice range. You can just freely like use your characters to slam some enemies. You can also choose the enemies that are in the game right now. You know, you can choose whatever you want. But I want something like this in Star Rail as well, because I think that's actually very needed. needed in this game. There's so much strategy and team building here. We need to see what we can do, you know, we need to know what we can expect. And just by playing a lot, I do think at some point, you know, especially if you do a lot of late game content, you will know what your damage will be. But I just need a more precise and an easier way to just test this. And a practice range also comes with a lot of other things that we said in this video, you know, like the Idolon Toggle. That would be something instantly that we could combine. And the Relic slots, what we talked about just now as well. We can just have a lot of comfort with all the other features as well. It all harmonizes together. And this practice range or practice tool, whatever you want to call it, super nice to see, and will bring a lot of the battle fanatics in this game just a lot of joy. I will 100% guarantee you that. I think that is all of the things that I really miss in this game, and I've been thinking about it a lot because, of course, if I really dig down, I can probably come up with a few more that I really miss, but I think these are the 5 that I think, or that I always want in the game, that I struggle with the most, that they're not there. Like I said throughout the video already, these codings that we have in the game, you know, the Honkai Star Rail team, their coding and just however they are managing this game, a lot of these things, like the base ground is already there. The music box, we have one in the train. Why just not implement the coding what they have there and implement it in the battle one, and then we can just swap with all the ones that we have, you know? Or the Idolon, we can toggle it on. That does toggle it off again. There's a lot of things in here that shouldn't be that hard for them to actually implement in the game. And that's why it's even more frustrating to see that they're not doing this, you know? The practice range is also not that hard to make because we have all the enemies, all the battles, all the characters, we have them by default. It all makes sense because all of these things are already in the game. It shouldn't be that hard for them to actually change these things. Now, don't get me wrong, Honkai Star is making a lot of good effort for a lot of quality of life updates. I do think a lot of few patches, also the recent few ones, you know, that we can unlock a quest already, even though we're not that far yet. All of those things are very good quality of life changes, and I think that Honkai Star is doing a very good job. I just hope that they see these things as well, and hopefully one day they are going to implement these wishes that I have, and probably a lot of wish that you guys have. I think a lot of these things that I mentioned, you guys probably also find a very cool feature if they would be in Honkai Star Rail. And speaking of that, I want to know what you guys think. There's probably a feature that I didn't name that you maybe have in the back of your mind every time you're playing this game, like, oh man, I wish this was a thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you think would be a very insane feature or a quality of life update they should implement in the game, but is not yet a thing. Would love all of that from you guys. I would love what you can come up with. It would just completely change the flow of the game, that would make it way more smooth to play. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and I would love to hear your stories and takes on this. If you enjoyed this video, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel, means the world to me if you can do that. Make sure to join the Discord. We're trying to grow the community even further, and if you want to support the channel even further, then become a member. I love you all, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care. Peace.